Camellya, the queen of susness, has finally arrived as a playable main DPS, and whilst her forte circuit may seem complicated, after this guide you will know exactly what to do as well as how to build her.
Don't run! Keep the dance going!
Camellya is a 5-star limited resonator, wielding a sword whilst being specialized in Havoc basic attack damage, just like our buddy Rover. Camellya has a 5-hit basic attack combo, but after using your third or your heavy attack, you can hold your basic attack button to continuously attack the enemy up to 20 times. After using this attack, Camellya will automatically cast her basic attack 5. As for her resonance skill, Falls of Bloom and Blight, after pressing it, Camellya will deal damage in front of her that counts as basic attack damage, which she follows up by transforming into her Blossom mode. While she is in Blossom mode, Camellya cannot walk around, but she's still able to use her dash. In this mode, Camellya has a 4-hit basic attack string. When you're using your basic attack free, you can hold the basic attack button to keep spinning, dealing 19 additional hits on the enemy. And after this, Camellya will automatically use her 4th basic attack. Besides transforming her basic attacks, she also transforms a couple extra things. Dodge counter will be replaced with dodge counter atonement. This will make it so that you can instantly do your spin attack after you dodged. Her resonance skill is replaced by Floral Ravage. This deals some damage and can be cast mid-air. After casting Floral Ravage, her Blossom mode will end. Jump is replaced with basic attack Vining Ronde. This will consume a bit of stamina whilst also ending her Blossom state. All of these abilities count as basic attack damage. Now, her forte circuit is quite long and quite complicated, but I'll try to explain it as simple as I can. This is Camellya's forte bar. To fill it up, simply use your intro skill. This will grant her the maximum of 100 forte points. When Camellya uses her basic attacks, resonance skill, Blossom mode or any of the other abilities I named that count as basic attack damage, she will consume a bit of her forte bar. The energy regeneration of the attacks consuming the forte bar will be increased by 150%. For every 10 points Camellya consumes from her forte bar, she will recover 4 concerto energy whilst also obtaining 1 butt stack. Each butt stack lasts 15 seconds with a maximum number of 10 stacks. When her Concerto circle is full and Ephemeral is not on cooldown, her resonance skill will be replaced with Ephemeral. When you use Ephemeral, Camellya gains 100 forte points, whilst at the same time, she consumes 70 Concerto energy and deals a massive 1262% basic attack damage nuke to the enemy. After this, Camellya enters a Bot state. Bot state has a couple effects. The first one is Sweet Dream. Sweet Dream will increase the damage multiplier of basic attacks, resonance skill and Blossom mode basic attack damage by 50%. But that's not all, because Bot state also consumes each Bot stack generated by consuming your forte bar. Each stack will further increase Sweet Dream's damage by 5% with a maximum of 50% for a total of 100% damage multiplier increase in Bot state. When in botting modes, Camellya cannot gain Bot stacks and at the same time, she cannot generate resonance energy. And finally, her Resonance Liberation.
Feed my blossoms, self-deceivers!
Fervor Efflorescent. This is a nuke that deals 1202% attack damage. This liberation can be cast mid-air, has a low 125 energy requirement, a cooldown of 20 seconds and will generate 20 Concerto energy. As for her inherent skills, both of them are not too bad. The first one will increase her Havoc damage bonus by 15%, while also making it so that her heavy attack will be treated as a basic attack. And the second one will give Camellya 15% basic attack damage bonus, whilst also increasing the resistance to interruption of her basic attacks. And lastly, her auto skill. Her auto skill deals 329% attack, and after she used Ephemeral, this damage increases by an additional 459% of Camellya's attack, making it a total of 788% damage. As for leveling recommendations, I recommend leveling her resonance skill first. You will be in this state for most of your damage. After this, you can level her forte circuit and resonance liberation. Her forte circuit deals a bit more damage than her resonance liberation, so that has a slight priority over it. And finally, you can level your intro skill and basic attacks. If you have S6, I personally like leveling basic attacks as a priority as well, since I use them for a special rotation, which I will explain in the rotations tab. As for her weapons, I can confidently recommend 6 weapons. First, we have our own signature weapon, the Red Spring. As for the main stats, it has 587 base attack and 24.3% crit rate, which is already really nice considering how Camellya gets crit damage on her skill board. But the passive is the best part about this weapon. First, it'll increase your attack by 12% for free. And after that, when Camellya hits a basic attack, she will gain 10% basic attack damage bonus for 14 seconds. This can be triggered once every second with a limit of 3 stacks. As for the second part, when the wielder consumes concerto energy, that is the circle, not the forte bar, the wielder will gain 40% basic attack damage bonus for 10 seconds. This can be triggered every second and disappears when the wielder leaves the field. So, in total, she will gain 70% basic attack damage bonus. It is a bit niche since other characters can only gain 30% basic attack damage bonus, but it is by far the best weapon for Camellya. The second weapon is going to be the Emerald of Genesis. It has the same main stats, which is nice. The only difference is the passive. You do get 12.8% energy recharge, but every time you cast your resonance skill you will gain 6% attack with a maximum of 2 stacks. The passive is good, but it does get overshadowed by her signature weapon, since that one already gives 12% attack for free. Overall, it is still a really good option, making it the second best weapon for Camellya, being I'd say around 15 to 20% less valuable. For the final 5-star weapon, it'll be the Blazing Brilliance, Chun-Li's signature weapon. This weapon can be used purely as a stat stick, since the passive is absolutely useless on Camellya. The base attack and crit damage on the main stats are nice, and the 12% attack from its passive doesn't hurt, but the rest is pretty useless since you only deal a little bit of resonance skill damage. Luckily, I still have 3 4-star options. The first one is going to be the newest event weapon, the Somnoir Anchor. For a 4-star weapon, it has high base attack with 18.2% attack as its substat, and the passive seems to be pretty good for Camellya since she wants long field time. You gain 1 stack of Hiss when dealing damage, with 1 stack being generated a maximum of once per second. Hiss increases the wielder's attack by 4% for 3 seconds, stacking up to 10 times. After reaching 10 stacks, the wielder gains 12% crit rate. Switching out will clear all the stacks. Since it gives crit rate and a lot of attack, this weapon will be pretty good on Camellya. The second one is going to be the Commando of Conviction. This weapon has decent base attack with 30.3% attack as its substat, and with its universal passive giving 15 to 30% attack after casting your intro skill, this weapon will be quite good on Camellya. As for the last weapon, it is going to be the Looming Gloss. This is the Battle Pass weapon. It gives 388 base attack and 36.5% attack as its substat. These stats aren't the greatest, but luckily the passive does save itself. When you use your resonance skill, increase basic attack and heavy attack damage by 20% up to 65% based on refinement for 10 seconds, and this can be triggered once every second. If you have a couple refinements on this weapon, it can be pretty strong on Camellya.
Vitality sour.
Camellya has one echo set she really likes to use, and that is none other than the Sun Sinking Eclipse set. The 2-piece effect grants 10% Havoc damage bonus, but the real treat is behind the 5-piece bonus. The 5-piece bonus grants 7.5% Havoc damage bonus each time you hit a basic or heavy attack on an enemy. This stacks up to 4 times. So, in total, this set gives a very nice 40% Havoc damage bonus. As for your active echo, you have 2 options, the Dreamless and the Crownless. And this time I'm going to recommend the Crownless as your main echo. After the first hit of the Crownless, you can already dash cancel out of it and still gain the buffs it gives, which are 12% Havoc damage and 12% skill damage bonus. And even though the skill damage bonus is pretty useless, for the 0.5 seconds of the Crownless being on field, it is definitely worth it for just the Havoc damage bonus. Of course, you can also use the Dreamless if you don't have any good Crownlesses. For the main stats of your echoes, you want these stats. The reason for a free cost attack is because Camellya already gets quite a few damage bonuses, and with her signature weapon she gets even more. If you're using the Battle Pass weapon or signature weapon, I recommend that you use a free cost attack percent echo. In the end, it is about a 1 to 5% difference in damage, so if you have no good attack percent free cost, a good Havoc one will work pretty much the same. As for the substats, you want to aim for crit rate, crit damage, basic attack damage bonus, attack percent, and finally a little bit of liberation damage bonus as well as energy recharge doesn't hurt. Do all of these stats look familiar? If you said yes, then I'm guessing you've built Havoc Rover. You can simply steal all of the echoes from Havoc Rover and put them on Camellya, since they're both Havoc basic attack DPSs.
Feed my blossoms, self-deceivers!
Camellya has 2 good teammates she wants to use, with a third one already confirmed. First, we have Sanwa. Sanwa's auto skill increases basic attack damage by 38%, which is already great for Camellya. And besides this, when she uses the Moonlit Clouds Echo set, she can increase Camellya's stats by an additional 22.5% attack from the 5-piece and another 12% damage bonus from the Impermanence Heron. And finally, if you have her S6, you will be able to increase the attack of the entire team by an additional 20%. At the moment, she will be the best support for Camellya on release. The second teammate is going to be Dungeon. Dungeon has good damage as a sub DPS with fast Concerto energy, as well as a nice 23% Havoc damage bonus for the incoming Resonator. Dungeon will have slightly longer field time than Sanwa, since Dungeon will need to build up her forte bar at least 50%, as well as use her heavy attack to fill the Concerto energy. You can run Dungeon on the Sun Sinking Eclipse if you want to embrace the dual DPS playstyle, as well as the Moonlit Cloud set if you want to support Camellya. If you run her on the Moonlit Cloud set, Dungeon will, just like Sanwa, give a 22.5% attack increase, as well as a 12% damage bonus increase. And if you have Dungeon's S6, she will also increase the team's attack by an additional 20% after using her heavy attack slash. And finally, we have Havoc Rover. Havoc Rover's sequence 4 reduces the enemy's Havoc resistance by 10% for 20 seconds after hitting her Forte charge attack or her Resonance Liberation. This will definitely be a dual DPS team, but if you enjoy that kind of team, this might just be the team for you. As for the healers, you can either use Shorekeeper, Farina as her plant twin, or Baiji. This all depends on who you have and who is available, with Shorekeeper being the most valuable stat-wise and Farina having the most amount of healing. Personally, I think Camellya will get her own tailor-made support, like Yinlin and Zhang Liao or Zheji and Jinxi, but we'll have to wait and see. Sanwa's buff can't last long enough, so in this case your rotation becomes intro skill, basic attack the enemy until you have depleted your forte bar, whilst also making sure you almost fill your Concerto energy. Swap to Sanwa. Use Camellya's intro skill again, Crownless Dash cancel into Ephemeral, then you can enter Blossom mode. Smack the enemy, after that Perennial, and smack the enemy some more. After this, you should have full Concerto energy so you can switch out and repeat this rotation. This way, you will get most of Sanwa's outro buff on the important part of Camellya's kit.
Crimson Blossom!
Camellya has some great sequences, but she also has some less desirable sequences, so let's go over them. S1 will increase Camellya's crit damage by 28% for 18 seconds after using her intro. This can be triggered once every 25 seconds. And she will also gain a second effect. Her Ephemeral will now be immune to interruption. This is a really good sequence, giving a lot of crit damage, while also making sure her Ephemeral nuke will deal damage to the enemy. Beware though, since you can still personally cancel it by using a dash while you're using Ephemeral. S2 will increase her Ephemeral damage by 120%, and from what I've noticed, the math for this is 1262 times 2.2 for a total of 2776%, so this is really nice. This can be a good stopping point. S3 gives 2 effects. The first will increase her Resonance Liberation by 50%. The second, however, is the nice part of the sequence. Whilst in budding state, Camellya will increase her own attack by 58%. An attack increase this big is really nice, since she already has so many damage bonuses. This can also be a good stopping point. As for S4, after using her intro skill, the entire team will gain 25% basic attack damage bonus for 30 seconds. This is a fine sequence, but it is not that special, and isn't a noteworthy sequence to stop at. S5 will increase Camellya's intro skill damage by 303%, whilst also increasing her outer skills damage by 68%. This is a pretty nice damage buff, giving her more front and backloaded damage. And finally, S6. This is a long one. First, Sweet Dreams multiplier will be increased by an additional 150%. Resonance Circuit Perennial. Within 15 seconds of casting Ephemeral, and when Concerto energy is full, and when Perennial is not on cooldown, your Resonance skill will be replaced with Perennial. When you cast Perennial, Camellya loses 50 Concerto energy whilst regaining 50 points of her Forte bar. By casting this, you will deal 100% of Ephemeral's nuke damage. And this damage cannot be interrupted. And finally, after casting Perennial, Camellya will consume all her bot stacks whilst increasing the multiplier of Dream to 250%. I recommend to go for S6 after S3, since this is the best big thing after.
It's getting fun.
Personally, I love Camellya, her design, her gameplay and her story. She deals a lot of damage whilst looking really cool. I'm really hoping she will get a dedicated support soon, but we'll have to wait and see. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, may I recommend this one on the screen right now. I appreciate you all. Bye bye.